So I'm definitely about to change the rotors and the brakes on this Mercedes E320 2004. Try to be as detailed as I can. Let's go. First thing first, let's get this jack underneath the car in proper place. Okay. This is simple and plain. If you can't jack up a car, you shouldn't be doing brakes. Just, I think one-on-one. Of course, you should have already loosened the lug nuts on the tire. So when you raise the tire up, the tire doesn't just spin as you try to loosen the lug nuts. I also have a jack stand for safety that I put more toward the front of the car, as I leave this jack underneath the car as well. So I'll go pretty high to give me plenty of space to work. Alright, so now we're up in the air. Let's see if we can get these lug nuts off. This is one of those cars where the lug nuts do double duty. They fasten the rim to the car and they hold it up. So it's not like the lug nuts that hang off the car where you can just hang the rim on there and then put the nut on there at the end. There's actually a screw attached to the lug nut that holds the tire and the rim all on to the car. So once these things are loose, there's nothing holding it on except for, well, nothing. Alright. So I'm going to be changing the rotor and the pads. I have the pieces to change the little rubber piece inside, but I've done that before and I didn't like it. As a matter of fact, I'll never like it. That's how bad it was. I would never want to put a piece of rubber through a hole of metal and think, oh, this is better, right? This clip here, I got a new clip for that, so it'll be shiny when I put it back on. But basically we're going to change the pads, which have started to wear down on the rotor just a bit. And then there's a wire in here, I believe, that lets you know when the brakes are worn. So this bolt here will allow me to take the rotor off, and there's two bolts on the back that'll allow me to take off the brake gear, and then allow me to put the pads in. This is a little bit more complicated than like a GMC or a Chevy or something, because the other ones you would just be able to take off the top and slide the pads back in. This is a 2 or 3 prong approach where you literally have to fit it in side to make sure that the brake pads fit. And of course, anytime you're changing brake pads, you're going from skinny to thick. And so you're gonna have to press the caliper open, right? But even then, there's barely enough space for you to get all of it to fit inside this housing. So it's a two-part approach. It's a two-part approach where I will have to take this top part of the brake off and take the bottom part off as well, and then put it back together. I watched some videos where the guys look like they're just throwing this stuff together, but I played with it for about an hour on the other side, and this was the only way it could be done. It's still not hard, it's just a little more tedious, so I'm going to go through the whole process. Oh, also, you can see this is a 18. I don't know if you can see it that well. This is a 18, it's a power torque 18 right there. I went and bought this from O'Reilly's. because the one I had was just a regular size. This is a little bit shorter. I don't know if you can tell, but it's only about 1.5 inches. It's because the control arms get in the way of you actually being able to torque and ratchet off the screws in the back of the brake assembly. So the top part, I still have to use a 18 wrench, and I'm making like baby movements to get it to come off. I'm using pretty much this end here, and it gets the job done, but it slows down the process a lot. If I could just use my ratchet and this 18 here, I'd be in business. This thing would take like a 35, 45 minute change really quick, but having to use this ratchet is gonna, you know, just make everything a little bit longer. And, you know, frustrates you, so you gotta breathe. Make sure you breathe, people. So let me see if I can show you exactly how much space you have. So now this ratchet is on here, right? That's about how much space I have to move. There's no, I'm sorry, wrench. There's no wiggle room for the ratchet due to the control arm right here. This control arm right here, there's no space for you to put a real ratchet. So I have to use the wrench, which is slow going. You know, these things are pretty tight. I think the bolt might be about 1.5 inches long. So imagine doing this for constantly over and over and over again. Breathe, breathe, breathe. That's all I can think. Alright, like I said, for this clip here, you're gonna have to push it in here to get it to come out. See how it just pops out on both sides. Pops right out, but if you don't pull that clip out, that brake pad won't come off. So I've already taken the bolts off the back and just took the pin off, tossed it to the side, and we should get some movement here. Let me try loosening up the caliper just a little bit. Doing a little squeeze play. And I think that's gonna get us where we want to be at. Yep. Gonna push some liquid out of there. And here we go. Brake pads fall right on out. So I've got this off here. And remember not to let this hose here, don't let this hose here just hang. So you'll want to hang it on top or figure out a way to get it to come out. This side, for whatever reason, doesn't appear to have the a switch. There's a little electronic switch on the other side that lets you know when the brake's going bad, and it plugs in here into the brake pad actually, and then it starts to rub. As you can see, it would be right here and would start to rub, but it's not actually rubbing. So that's all right. We'll ignore that. So what I'm gonna end up doing is taking this pad out of here and separating these two pieces, which one should just pull right on out, just like that. And look at there. You have full access to the brake, except for, ta-da, it's never gonna be that easy with Mercedes. There is this part here. This part here that stays within the middle of the housing until you squeeze it with a, I'm gonna use needle nose pliers to get that loose. right. And oh, actually this is fully extended here. So since it's fully extended, I'm gonna push this up and get it gone, and then that'll give me enough room and clearance to get that out of there. That'll push this back and it'll push the brake fluid back up the line, and then that'll give me enough space. This will drop all the way back to about right here, and we'll be good. Loving the process. Again, this is about 35 minutes in. Not really a long time, but it's definitely better than paying the mechanic. I think they wanted $600 for just doing the brake pads and the rotors, and I got all four for $200 and about $220. So I'm gonna knock this out. I'm gonna push this back up, and this brake will pop back out. Now take off the rotor, and I'll be well ready to put everything back together again. All right, people. So I just finished pushing this back with what is that called? C-clamp. With this C-clamp right here. It's a nice one because it has the button that allows you to push it to right where you want it to be. And I don't think it was that expensive. It's okay. You know, it's perfect for this job. All right, so now I got that in there. This gives me plenty of space to move, right? And we're free and clear. I might want to try to push this back just a little bit more with the C-clamp, but I'll wait until after I'm ready to put everything back together. In the meantime, what I'm gonna do is take my rotor off here. That rotor, just gonna take one of these, let's see if I can make it focus. New camera people, bear with me. What is that, a hex? Yeah, a hex. I'm not sure exactly the number, but the hex will go right here. And that pops out. I'll put that to the good side with the stuff that we will reuse, and we'll be able to wiggle. Hopefully, yeah. Nothing stuck on, and we're free and clear, man. We got rid of the bad rotor. You know, you can check your gear in here. This is an old car, so it's interesting to see that stuff still works after all this time pretty flawlessly. This is one of our best running cars. This 2004 E320. We have a GLS 550, a 2017. I got a 2015 GMC. But these cars, due to the shocks and all of the control arms, upper and lower, in the front and back, they just ride so good. And then the engine is so strong that actually the most problems that we have with this car is them engine mounts. The engine is so strong, it shakes and shakes and shakes and shakes and shakes until the engine mounts go bad, and then the whole car sounds like it's about to fall apart. So it's a lovely car to have. So give me a minute. I'm gonna open up the new rotor and spray it down, and we'll put it back on. All right, so boom. New brake rotor, rear, driver's side. Slides on, slides off real easy. I mean, this is butter here. And of course, I'm gonna get you some brake cleaner in there. All right. You gotta have a pretty clean part right there, especially when you spent so much money on it. But this, it's nothing like brand new metal. I don't care what you say. I'll take a brand new quarter of an old one any day. All right, so stick the bolt back in. Impact drill does its job. And we're ready to put brakes on this thing, right? So, do I have my brakes? I think I do have my brakes on deck. First one's first is the funny brake. I I like the funny brake because it has this piece in here that I've never seen in another car. But we're gonna oil it down and slide it in. Let's see here. Oil. Got some white lithium grease. Shake it up real good. And look at that. Look at that. It's like good old magic right there, boy. I tell you. It just lays down right in there. Before I do this, I think I need to grease the pivot holes and slide the mechanism back together. So hold on, let's use some more. Alright, got some white lithium in there. Alright, and let's put some on this piece too. Make everything not squeak. Alright, and we're gonna slide this whole mechanism back together. Alright. Again, you can change the rubbers in here, the rubber seals, but I found that it is a headache. Alright, buddy. Got one to go. Waiting for the other to kind of feel like he wants to lay in there. And now we're in business. It's starting to look like a brake, right? Alright, so first thing we're going to do is take the old brake pad, this one here with the funny part to the back, and try to slide it in. And it always wants to put up a little bit of a bite. No, that's me. All 100% me. So, when you're doing this, you don't want to make sure that this piece here doesn't get pushed out. So I am going to clamp it back in with some needle nose. Alright, looks good again. Camera won't focus worth track. I mean, everybody's talking about the autofocus on this. I have the R6 Canon, but 35mm lens, but this autofocus is a little janky, if you ask me. I must be using it wrong. Everybody else is all in love with it. But that's a macro lens too, so you can get some good detail on there at least. Alright, let's try this thing again. Okay. Alright. So now that it's sitting in there, I am going to squeeze with my needle noses and make it fit properly. Alright, let's see what's holding it up, what's holding up progress. Can't see anything really. Alright, and there we go. We've got progress on that end. So now that that part of the brake is going to stay in because it has the metal that actually holds it in place. And this is where I think I'll need to use the C-clamp again. Just make sure I have as much space as possible. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Pinch my finger. Alright, it goes no further than that. So 1/2 twist undone. Press the orange button. And we release. Alright, now all I need to do is put the other brake in. I'm also going to put some white lithium grease on. Excelente. And this is where things get a little bit fickle because you want to push it as close to the brake as possible to get it to fit. You can get one end in, then the other end in, and then you can separate them so the rotor can fit in the middle. But it's a tight fit. You know, brand new brake pads don't always want to be where you want them at. All right, so does that look like a deal? Let's see. Hey! Alright, so all we're going to do is put 2 bolts in the back and put the clip back in the front. And we're going to call this thing a done deal records. You know, you can be amazing all day long, or you can be amazing just at nighttime. Tonight, it's about 9:30. Figured I'd take my new fickle camera and make me a video, and I hope you guys like it. Again, this is the 2004 E320. Husky does it, man. That's how we get it done. I'm gonna put some bolts on the back of this thing, and I think that's all you guys need to know. I'll put the tire back on, screw the lug nuts back in. I will make sure the brake fluid is topped off, put the top back on the brake fluid underneath the hood, and then I'm going to pump up the brakes, and hopefully I don't roll down the hill too far. You guys have an excellent day. Be blessed.